Hello everyone and welcome to this review of Mortal Kombat 11. We are currently playing this on the Nintendo Switch, which is one of the systems being covered, along with the PS4. And as you can tell, there's a lot of content here. This is just a great game. So we're going to go in and we're going to do a lot of stuff. We're going to actually show off some gameplay mechanics and also some other things of the Switch version, which by the way is definitely worth every penny you will pay into it. We're going to go with Scorpion. We're going to go with his first variant. Now I'm going to choose an opponent, and we're going to go with Deborah. And we get to choose the setting. I just want to beat up on this lady real quick. And we're going to choose, mainly because I like the way it looks, is Goro's Lair. I love it. There's so much content here to work with, too. So first off, I want to talk about the story mode. Not to spoil any story points, but the game takes place 2 years after the events of MK10. A lot has changed, and a new villain called Kronika is coming in. She's determined to reset the timeline, a sort of temporal Armageddon.
Kronika allows you to serve.
She esteems the hive's survival instinct.
It leads you to death, Deborah. Round one. Fight!
Needless to say, it's pretty cool, and I've got to do this review while also playing this game real quick. But at the same time, this is pretty cool, and it gives you an idea on what's going on. Plus, this is like actual practice for me because I'm getting, actual combat experience while, just practicing and stuff. And this has actually helped me out a lot more. I mean, the practice mode when I need to figure out a move is kind of handy, but this one you're actually in, trouble. She can kill us. And it's just great. Now, the story mode is, believe it or not, is actually very much like it is in the past games. You have 4 primary fights to every character's chapter. There are a couple of chapters where you're going to have an additional spare fight, which is not part of the normal number, so that's a good thing to remember. But they've also included a brand new set to that, which is the, of course the, oh damn it, which is of course you have 2 players playing the same, 2 characters in the same setup, and they, as you can guess, they, okay, hold on, remember this. There we go. And, so you get to choose which character you want, and so you can have a slightly different combat point there. Now, this is the first game in the series that also has, believe it or not, and I'm not making this up, an alternate ending system with a very good, and a very bad ending. And I want to point that out for everybody. It's not a joke. It will happen. So it's a good idea to remember that. We're going to actually head back to the main menu. But as you can tell, the quality is just great here in the game. And this is a Switch version, by the way. But the story mode really does a lot. Now, believe it or not, the story mode is definitely past 4 hours and maybe 5 or 6 hours long. I've seen some people put it up on YouTube like a movie, and it's about almost 4 hours long. But most of the time they're cutting out the fights, and I can tell you that it's probably at least a 4 to 5 hour campaign, which is not bad, but it doesn't help. We're going to also show up the crypt here real quick, because this is the next thing I'm going to cover after the story. So as you can imagine, there's a lot to work with here. The story mode is just great. You have to play through it, and you really do want to try to get through stuff. And it was inventive. It was great. There was a lot of little things that make you just go, oh yeah, that's great. I want to play that now. And it was just great, including little character reveals, and the graphical quality is definitely nothing to take for granted. The crypt here is what I want to talk about next, because it's talking about a lot of stuff. Once it's fully loaded, it's now actually an actual, believe it or not, 3D over-the-shoulder adventure mode, which is just incredible in its own right. The actor from the original 1995 movie who played Shang Tsung is actually the primary voice actor and the person who we got the predominant look from. And as you can see here, there's a lot of content here. I mean, this is a massive environment and level. It's very good. Now, unfortunately, on this particular copy, you're not seeing it really good, but oh, there we go. It's coming into focus. It's pretty good, as you can see here, but it's not the best. It could have been better. This is sort of the living forest, I believe, and there's a lot of content around here. It's an amazing area. Ooh, we have a lot of content here too. The crypt has a lot of stuff, a lot of lore, and a lot of other things, and I forgot how massive it is. It's pretty huge. I mean, look at this. There's some pretty big stuff. And I think we're coming off across... Ah, here we go. Check this out. We have bodies. And I think... That's not drama. That could be Draman. So, here we go. Okay, that's not it. Nope. Ooh, we unlocked somebody. I think it's Saktor. Nice. Now there is still one more, so we're going to try again. Ooh, damn, I did not know.
Thought you smarter.
I died. Okay, that was actually pretty cool. I did not know you could die. As you just heard his voice too. So like I said, he does do this stuff. Now we can come up and claim these chests, and I believe I have just enough for this. Not bad. We should see what I get. Not bad. There's a lot of content here, so now we're going to come in and check this out. You actually have yep, there we go. Do I have that? I don't have that many hearts yet. Dang it. As you can see here, there's a lot of content. I'm actually pretty happy to say that I didn't go too far over anything, and it's just a massively well done environment. And the cool thing is you can explore this to your heart's content. There are a lot of Easter eggs and a lot of things around. It's just great. And there's so much content here. I'm even myself, I'm still pretty surprised by just how much content is in here. And we're just showing off the crypt real quick. So, a lot of content, a lot of stuff. And you actually even get to see me just playing it too, so which is pretty cool for a review. The crypt, though, I'm sorry to say, is one of the things that has mostly been criticized that it will be microtransaction filled, and I'm sorry to say I can already see the signs, and I understand where people are going to come from on that point. You have these things called, believe it or not, the crystals, the time crystal currency, whatever the hell you want to call that. So not something I would want to put on anybody, but it does tell you a lot. This place is in adventure mode. There's a lot of stuff to explore, tinker, grab, do all kinds of stuff. So it's a pretty big location. I myself was pretty surprised by that. As you can see here, there's a lot of content. The Switch version does have a little problem to it, and I'll show you it here as well. I call it more the limitation of the hardware, really, in all honesty. Something just hit the ground, and this happens from time to time too. You're going to encounter a lot of stuff. I don't even know where it is. I heard it, but I don't see it. But as you can see here, there's a lot of content. You have to have the money to get to it. There's even, look at that. I would have thought they would have cut that out, but they didn't. That's actually pretty cool. There's the gong, but we're headed this way real quick. You'll see why. There we go. It's actually clearing up. But as you can tell here, yes, the Switch version is very good looking. It does have its limitations, both graphically and other things, so I do want to point that out. And here we are. We have the pit. And it's clear there's more to go. But look there. You can actually just make out the other walkway of the pit. And I want to point that out because it's not very visible. And yet in the PS4 and Xbox One version, you can actually see it very clearly. You can see the volcano over in the distance over there. And you can even see people fighting on it. It's pretty clear they've had to make some concessions for graphics, processing power, and even space. So, shit happens. But overall, I could definitely spend time in here. And mostly because I'm probably not going to bother to buy a currency. I'm going to just explore. And I'm probably going to have a lot of good fights. So the microtransactions aren't going to be a big thing unless there's a certain piece of gear or like some fan art I want. Otherwise, I don't really see a problem. What next? Let's go into actual combat. First of all, if you played MK10, you're not going to see anything too differently, as you saw in the battle. But it's been refined heavily. The X-ray kind of moves, both, the ones where, you see people get hit, or you see actual X-rays where you see their skeletons and stuff. This stuff has been made more into a kind of like, an environmental or a certain type of punch effect, which is pretty cool. The fatal blow is brand new because, as you saw, you have 2 meters. You have this one on the floor and one on the side of the screen where your character and also your enemy. And means you have 2 different kind of modes and stuff to work with, which is actually pretty fun, and it works well. And you can actually destroy stuff in the environment too and get coins for it, which is pretty cool too. So that's all pretty cool. Now, believe it or not, we actually have more content. And, in the fatal blow, now being, relegated down to a guy dying is pretty cool. I had to see if I could hit that. And stuff. And as you can see, there's a lot of bodies just lying around and stuff. I do want to check something out. Oh, what do you know? Let's look at this. Excellent. It looks like, since I haven't been in the crypt in a while, that the crypt has actually, believe it or not, restocked itself. This is pretty cool. And you can actually do a thing with this time thing, except for a couple. This one right here is still opened, but the rest are, closed. I'll have to check. I didn't have a whole lot of money when it came in the first time, but so far it's pretty good looking. And this is where you start out. As you can see here, you have these 2 chests. That's where you'll get your initial money and stuff. So already the crypt is pretty good. And watch this. We have believe it or not, a map of where you've gone and the access to the main. Oh, sorry. To the main menu and stuff. So it makes sense. A lot of content. And the combat, like I said, is tougher, it's faster. There's been a lot of tweaks, the fatal blow, the other moves, the breakers, everything. I felt much better playing this game than I did in a while, which is pretty cool. And again, it's doing the... Sorry about that, guys. And as you can see here, we have classic towers. Everything starts with a K instead of a C. The tower times, are like the living towers from 10 or the multiverse in Injustice. And their story, of course. And, yeah, check that out. Look here. Oh, I did not notice that. That is actually animated. That's pretty cool. And as you can see here, I'm on the Switch version. I'm on Chapter 3. You have to get, by the way, to Chapter 4 right here to completely get that, to unlock Frost. She is in the game. I'm going to tell you that right now. We also have here the customizable thing. We're going to go in real quick. I'm going to take a look at Scorpion anyways. And as you can see, there's a lot of work that went in. And yeah, not everything is perfect. As you can see here, the environment on the bottom is a little wonky and stuff, but that's understandable. But damn, do they do a good job. Alright, so we're going to go over here and we're going to look at all the costumes. In fact, there are so many it's not even funny. Oh man, there are so many it's not even funny. So you can really make them look the way you want, just with these physical appearances and stuff. But you can also, do it with the gear pieces you have access to. So there's a lot of content. So as you can see here, there's a lot of content. There's a lot of abilities. And they weren't kidding when they said you could like change the move sets and stuff. You could do these modifiers and things. And look here, we have combos. I mean, there is so much content here. And that's the cool thing. Like in Injustice, we have the ability not only to make our character the way they look, but also the way they feel. And look here, we have two separate starts, moves to start out, and then we have, as you can see here, an additional 1, 2, 3. We have an additional 3 variations we can choose from. That means we have a grand total of 5 variations. We have 2 pretty much default ones we can change how we want as well, but we can actually make 3 more. So that's pretty cool. And as you progress through the game, you'll gain more gears, equipment, weaponry, and so on and so forth. So it's really good. And the towers are good and everything. In fact, check it out. Here's Shao Kahn. I do actually have him. I got him in the pre-order bonus, so it's pretty cool. But like it says, there's Frost, and again, she's locked until you beat Chapter 4. Unless, of course, you have like $6 and you want to basically buy her. But it gives you an idea on what to expect here, which is pretty cool. And I do like her model. I do think it's pretty funny. This game just really comes across really well, and that's on both systems. Of course, the PS4, 4K capacity. I believe it's more along the lines of 2K, but still, that's 4 million pixels versus 2 million, so it's still a vast and beautiful improvement, then upscaled to 4K, so not complaining one little bit there. And on the Switch, this is just beyond the words good, and the effects and everything. They just really made a great game here. Now, I figure I probably should touch on this as the whole, woke controversy. I don't really consider it a big deal for me personally in this game. I understand where it's going to piss off a lot of people, but frankly for me, it's like, this is a fighting game. That's what I came for. I didn't come here for politics. I came here for a fighting game. In fact, the little jokes that they make, at certain characters like Shao Kahn and, the weird ending for Jax here, I don't consider them a terrible thing. It's not something I'm enjoying, but it's not something that breaks my immersion into the game. And I do want to point that out. As you can see here, there's a lot that's going in. Jax's ending, if you've played through the game, and you've seen like the alternate endings in the story mode, and even with what you deal with in the arcade ladder, it's really not that terrible. I can understand when you're just showing the ending why it would be like, wow, really? He's got to go through that? But remember, he's like, I can't wait for anybody to get woke. It's not that big of a deal. The truth is, once you experience how and why he's doing that, remember that you're traveling through time in fighting Kronika at the end, both in the tower, and you'll even see 3 different hourglass stages where her hourglass is, and one of them is the modern stage, another one is in the prehistoric, which is 65 million years, and then the other one is supposedly before the dawn of time, which is what, a couple of billion at least. So if I was him, I would not want to wait for the bullshit to happen either. And frankly, I don't have any problem with him stopping slavery because it went against not just Africans, but Europeans, Asians, Middle Eastern people, and other cultures. It wasn't just on one group. And we need to remember that. And in his ending, he basically says for everybody. He doesn't say jack crap about skin color or any of that. And I really appreciate the character for that. But I also understand from the context of what they wrote where it's coming from. And everything else is jokes or little homages to other things. I can't even say it right. The Crypt has an homage to the original Mortal Kombat movie besides the Shang Tsung actor. Frost here, one of her intros, is her head and her spinal column dropping into her body right here. And that's a direct Star Trek quote and shout out. And I think some of the Mortal Kombat fans are Star Trek fans too, by the way, so that's pretty cool. There's another one where the dish best served cold, and it's, very cold kind of thing. She's got an Elsa joke on her too. Then there's of course Shao Kahn's "Let's Make Outworld Great Again." I don't find that a big deal. It's not a problem I have with his character. In fact, from his point of view, his Outworld has become pathetic, even though to the people of Outworld it's a better place now. So it's his "Let's Make Outworld Great Again." And it's a pretty basic thing. I also like how you have little funny quotes. There's even some banter between Liu Kang and Raiden that harkens back to the movie and a few other things. Basically, there's so much here in this game it's hard to keep track of. There's so much content. And the little controversies, this ending's all woke, I don't find it that big of a deal. It's not going to break my immersion. It's not going to break me wanting to play this like any other game. Now, if it was a piece of junk, that would be one thing, but this is not. This is actually a very well done game, and I'm definitely waiting for Shang Tsung to wind up on the roster here so I can finally play him. Because we have so many fan favorites. And only 4 brand new characters. Chronica, we have Collector. Geras is a lot of fun. He's an insane character, and he was a serious threat in the story mode. I'm not going to even lie how serious he is. You have to watch the story mode. But you get, in one of the trailers, a scene on just how serious he is. And then we have Cetrion here. And, she's an Elder God. She's a freaking Elder God. And she's actually a lot of fun to play. She's kind of like, everybody's going, oh, she's the Avatar character. This is the only character that I think was mentioned in a character ending in a previous game. I can't be sure. It's a little bit of thing. I'll probably do something on it. But the rest are all returning characters, and quite a few from 10, from all the other previous series. And all 7 original pickable characters from the original MK game are here, believe it or not. I actually checked. They're all here. They're all playable. So that's pretty cool. The other controversy I've heard people talk about is like, well, the guys are pretty much, like bare-chested. They're showing off so much skin, and the girls are all really covered up. First of all, if you've... in fact, let's just bring up one particular girl here. Let's show Scarlet off here, and then I'll put Scarlet, and I'll put another girl up. And as you can see here, yes, she's pretty well covered. This is some heavy clothing, but it's desert design here, and it makes her look pretty good, by the way. Then we have Katana here, and guess what? Katana's pretty covered up too. To be fair, though, the Revenant form is the more armored effect, so it's not something I really have got a problem with. Now, Cassie here, like a lot of the other girls, including the better-looking formats, she's covered up and she's armored, but as you can tell, she's really beautiful. She's really well done, and all these clothes are pretty much skin tight. So yeah, I can see where Johnny would be like, "Damn it, stop looking at my daughter." It's just that kind of a setup, and it works too. And I have no problem with any facial animation, none of that stuff. I didn't think Shiva looked like a dude. She's supposed to look like that. That's one of the big things you're going to learn real quick. Um, that's how she's looked in most of the other games. And it's just great. The gameplay is really well done. The development, the characters, everything. I don't have any problem with that at all. In fact, I find it really well done. This game's going to have its issues. I haven't noticed any stage fatalities. And as you saw a fatality, and they were really well done. I did a brutality. I didn't even know I was doing it, and I did it, and it was fun. There is mercies in this game, believe it or not. I haven't figured out how to do it. We do have daily challenges. We do have a lot of currency system. You can buy stuff, but I wouldn't recommend it. That's me personally, but I know people are probably going to. I might even invest in some stuff too. But for the most part, the game is very well done, very well affected. You've seen the Switch version, and people have been comparing it to the PS4 and the Xbox One basics, and while those two versions you can definitely see a lot more, this version is worth every penny you paid into it. And in my case, I bought this along with my big collector's edition PS4, which I did an unboxing on, and I haven't looked back one bit. In fact, I've been enjoying it. When I don't play my PS4, I play this, and then I play some other games. So I am, rotating between them. And this game is just worth it. I'm going to give this game a solid 8 out of 10. And that's just with the current build. And I'm really hoping to see what they'll do with it. And in fact, I'll do for everybody updates on any updates they do that add real content. If there's any special events that come in, if I can get to them. And also when the new characters come in. Because the Kombat pack we have has 6 characters in it. And we know Shang Tsung's the first one. And people are already speculating on who the guest characters are going to be. There's rumors of Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees. Wait, sorry. What was it? Ash, Spawn. Spawn would be cool in my opinion, and a couple of other characters. The fact is, this is a big game. It's going to be a fun game. It's going to be a well done game, and I can't wait to see what they do. So that's my review. It's an 8 out of 10. It's got its issues. It's got some political issues, but to be fair, judge the game on its gaming merits, how much fun it is, and just how much fun you're going to have, because this is one of those games where I'm having a lot of fun. And leave your own reviews down in the comment sections. Please like and subscribe, and have a good day, guys. And I hope to see you soon with other games and movies.